All right, we're live. Moments. Just give me a few moments, ladies and gentlemen, so I can actually make sure that this broadcast is available to people that are not just friends of me on Facebook. Mike, give me a second here, my friend. I'm just looking for the live video. And there it is. And now we can edit the privacy of it, which is funny. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, here we go. We're live here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is the Sauce God and Shimburski show with myself, the host, the Sauce God, and my co-host, Mr. Mike Shimburski. Mike, how you doing this evening, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. I look forward to this every week. I can't lie to you, especially when it's been a Bills victory. Then the excitement's even better. We have a lot to talk about. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, of course, Mike, the last time we talked, we felt good about our chances against Miami, but did we expect the Bills to just dismantle them by 4 scores? I don't know if we necessarily could have predicted such a thing, Mike, but I'll tell you what, there are a lot of good things to take away from the game, a couple of minor bad things, mostly to deal with injury, but we also have to take a look at this Bills versus Jags matchup, which I'm excited, right, because we haven't played in London, and the Jaguars are traditionally pretty good in London, and the Bills and the Jaguars have like a little bit of a weird history with each other, right? We played each other in that playoff game where we broke the drought after 17 years. We couldn't do shit with them on offense, right?
Yeah.
And boom, we faced them in Josh Allen's rookie year after Jalen Ramsey called them trash, and I was at that game, and we just whooped their asses, tight game, whatever, but it was a fun game to be at. And then we lost to them a couple years later when we were a 16.5-point favorite in a game where I felt it was weird from the start. So we're going to actually have a special guest joining us, Mike. It's my buddy Kirby, who's going to represent his Jacksonville Jaguars. He's going to come on and talk with us a little bit about the NFL, as well as what he thinks of his team and what he thinks about the matchup that he's got upcoming against us with the Buffalo Bills. So if you're just now tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, you're live here with Sauce God and Shimburski on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Do me a favor, hit that like, hit that share button, join us here in the comments, and also if you have not done so already, make sure to subscribe, follow, and like, and turn those notifications on so you don't miss any of the live shows that we got on live daily in the mornings at around noon. Also live on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So let's go ahead. Let's kick off this introduction video, Bills Mafia, and let's go and get down into the Bills and Dolphins. Bada bing.
Let's get this over with. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's simple, baby. Buffalo Bills football is back, all right? And we dying.
Crack a cold one since it's a tailgate.
Ooh. Ice cold, Mike. I'm dying. You are tuned in to the Sauce God Radio Network here on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, TikTok Live, and now streaming on BuffaloSauceGod.com. Yes, just give me a few more moments, ladies and gentlemen, to share this stream. And if you have not done so already, also give us a nice share and hit that like, react. And also, join us here in the comments. It's the Sauce God and Shimburski show right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We've got to first start off a little bit around the NFL. So, Mike, if you want to go ahead and get some of those scores ready for us here in just a moment, we'll talk about the NFL in Week 4. And we'll also get right down into the Bills' dominant victory over the Miami Dolphins, where they succeeded with a 48-20 victory at home and got themselves to 3-1 through 4 weeks of football and are now 1-1 in the division. And that's a huge, huge thing with the emergence of Von Miller coming into the season. So we've got a lot to talk about. We've also got to talk about the Buffalo Bills and Jacksonville Jaguars with the Werewolves in London this week. You know what I'm saying? I saw a little video the Bills put out too, Mike, where, Josh is saying something, bruv. You know what I mean? Now, I'm going to tell you this, too, by the way. If I was able to go to London, I'd just sit there talking smack to the Brits about, not only did we kick your asses in the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, we come over and save your asses at World War I, we save your asses at World War II, and now we've got a legit, way better version of football, if you know what I'm saying. So, Mike, let's go ahead. Let's break into it, brother. Let's go ahead and let's take a look around the NFL in Week 4. What do you got for us?
Oh, yeah. As we do always, jump right in. Week 4, Lions, they end up taking it on the Green Bay Packers, 34-20. We have the Falcons beating the The Falcons losing to the Jaguars. Sorry, our guests would get upset if I messed that one up. 23-7. Rams just squeaked by the Colts 29-23. Ravens taking the Browns down 28-3. Vikings 21 over the Panthers 13. Bengals 3-27 with being taken down by the Titans there. And Buccaneers 26-9 against the Saints. Dolphins 20, Bills 48. Broncos get a victory here against the Bears 31-28. Commanders making a close one with the Eagles 31-34. Steelers losing to the Texans 6-30. Ravens 17-24. The Chargers will take that game. And the Cardinals losing to the 49ers, no surprise there, 35-16. And the Cowboys beating the Patriots 38-3. And then the Jets on Monday night, or I believe that was Sunday night, with the Chiefs, just squeaking by the Jets. The Chiefs there 23-20. And then Monday Night Football, the 24-3 victory, the Seahawks beating the Giants. That's the scores for Week 4.
Excellent stuff. So, Mike, right away, I think one of the more surprising things that we could take a look at this week was the fact that the Houston Texans beat the Steelers 30-6. The Steelers have a lot of question marks, I think, with Kenny Pickett. He's now injured. And I think it's just showing maybe is he as good as people thought he was, or maybe he's not as good as people thought he was. And I think that C.J. Stroud needs to start getting some more credit because this guy is definitely not only a good quarterback, he's definitely a great leader as well. Some of the things that I'm hearing about him, being selected second overall and being the second best quarterback in the draft, and everybody said something about his IQ test or whatever the heck he had that he didn't score very well on versus the elite quarterbacks always have a certain score, whatever. All that stuff doesn't matter when you get on the football field and it's time to game. And C.J. Stroud could definitely game. And, I like the way that the Houston Texans are building that football team with DeMeco Ryans as head coach, the former defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. And I like the guys, John Mechie and Damian Pierce. John Mechie's story is really incredible. And shout out to DeMar Hamlin. Obviously, we're all anticipating he's going to be comeback player of the year. But if there was a guy that definitely could really take that out of his hands, it would be John Mechie. The guy beat, I think it might have been Hodgkin's lymphoma or something like that, or leukemia. I don't know, but something that was obviously very life-threatening. Now he's back on the football field, and it's really good to see. Incredible story with that young man as well. Mike, another surprising thing for me is these Giants, man. Why did you give Danny Jones 4 years for 160? It looks like that was a stupid contract, and I understand that, Giants fans will come out, the ones that like Danny Jones, and they'll tell you that he's been getting hit from behind his whole career. He's getting bashed. And yeah, he does not have an offensive line. I'm just saying. But at the same time, Danny Jones had a great year last year running with the football. I've never seen a great passing game from Danny Jones. And that's just being unbiased. I got nothing against the guy. I got nothing against Giants, for any reason. Even though I like to call them the New Jersey Giants, it's because they play in Jersey. But also, I take a look at, you got Danny Jones coming out like that. You got a guy like Brock Purdy who's still playing lights out. Christian McCaffrey playing lights out as well. But Mike, the real one that I thought was surprising, and I want to get your take on this. That's why I'm kind of segueing into this. Zach Wilson played probably his best game as a pro, and they lost by 3 points. Now, is this Chiefs team a little suspect? You think maybe Zach Wilson just had a good game, or what are we looking at here?
So I think it was a happy marriage of an exposure of the Kansas City defense. This isn't the first close game that they've had to play. They lost to the Lions in Week 1. And with the Jets have a good defense already. And, all they need is some decent quarterback play from Zach Wilson, and they become a good team all of a sudden. So that's what they got. They got serviceable quarterback play from Zach Wilson on Sunday night. You saw what he's capable of when they actually give him a pocket and, they have some good play calls there. That was the Zach Wilson that the Jets signed up for when they drafted him. I think if they're able to get that out of him on a weekly basis, the Jets can almost turn their season around. It's the consistency that's really plagued them. And if he's not able to, continuously put that kind of product out there, then, the Jets are going to struggle. But I thought that what I saw from from the Jets was that it was a much better offensive performance than it was Kansas City defense. They did get the takeaway. They get the takeaway with that fumble, and it looked very Josh Allen-esque, like how he fumbled in week one with the snap. It was kind of like a very similar situation. I don't know if it was just a bad snap count or he just dropped it as far as that shotgun fumble that he had, and then to steal the game. But yeah, I think that it was actually better quarterback play than it was bad defense.
I think Zach Wilson really did play a good game. I mean, heck, he even had a touchdown pass that was dropped in the end zone by his tight end. I mean, it was a really tough catch to make, but he really put it on a dime. And I think, if anything, listen, I'll give credit where it's due. I don't care if you're an AFC East rival. I'll give credit where it's due. He played a good game, and they definitely have some good young playmakers around him. Maybe if they build that offensive line a little bit better, and maybe if they can maybe give him some confidence from his teammates. Heck, everybody over there is acting like Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson are, like the father and child that doesn't want to be around the in-laws. You know what I mean? It's like, what the heck over here, right? I'm just saying, Zach Wilson, Chris Jones even talked about it, right? Because Rodney Harrison played some punk shit on ESPN after, or wherever the hell, or it's NBC, I'm sorry, and basically said, like, Zach Wilson's trash, this and that. And Chris Jones said, give the guy some time. The kid is definitely got some ability. I mean, we know he can throw the football, but again, he came into a dysfunctional franchise in 2021. Robert Saleh is turning the franchise around, yes, but again, this kid needs some consistency, and he's going to need some time. And I think if he could have the support of his teammates, and he can learn from Aaron Rodgers a little bit more. Obviously, it's unfortunate for him that Aaron Rodgers is out this whole year, because he could have probably learned a little bit more. You can already see it paying off a little bit. You can see the way that it paid off with Jordan Love too, by sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. You can learn a lot about the way the guy throws the football and the way that he uses his skill set, and I fully believe that. Now I'm going to say this though too, Mike. Why on earth is Josh Allen held over the coals when he has a bad week one week one against the Jets? However, Patrick Mahomes had a pretty awful game too. He had 2 picks. He threw, and one of them was like really stupid. It was just a bad throw. Why don't people hold Patrick Mahomes over the coals? I understand the guy's won 2 Super Bowls, but where's all the hatred for Pat Mahomes when Josh Allen literally comes out this week and played a perfect game and he wins Offensive Player of the Week? Where's the hate, Mike? What do you think about that?
I think you kind of mentioned it already. It's 2 Super Bowl rings, and he's kind of been the golden child, for the past couple seasons. He almost does no wrong, even when he's not playing well. They like to they'll make excuses for him. I think if he has more games like that, they can blame him. But it's just unfortunately the way the media wants to roll with it. It's always going to be that way, until Josh Allen gets a Super Bowl ring, or maybe 2, and he does, then the criticism will continue to come. And in order to have the same level of respect, you gotta match it.
I like it. So if you guys are just now tuning in, you're live here with the Sauce God and Shimburski Show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Hit that like and share if you're not already doing so. Join us here in the comments. We are live here at about 7:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, Mike and I are going around the NFL, but we are going to get into our updated NFL power rankings 1 through 5, as well as the weakest link of the week, who played the worst game in the NFL this week, whether it's a player or whether it's a team. Then we're going to get into our breakdown of the Buffalo Bills 48-28 victory over the Miami Dolphins, and what we did right offensively, what we did right defensively, as well as bada bing and bada boom. And forget about it, the unsung hero of the game. And then about 7:30 to 7:45, we're expecting our special guest Kirby to come in here and represent his Jacksonville Jaguars, as the Bills and Jags will head to London. Actually, the Jags will just hopefully they stayed in London. They were just over there, so I don't know where they'd have to fly all the way back. If they did, though, that's good for us, Mike. Tire them the heck out. Get Trevor Lawrence on that jet lag schedule, right? So Kirby's going to join us here a little bit after 7:30, guys. Don't go anywhere. You're live here with Sauce God and Shimburski. So, Mike, let's get back into our power rankings here. Rankings 1 through 5. What do you got for us in the NFL? Who is 1 to 5?
So I'm going to go with the number 1 overall is good. It's got to be the San Francisco 49ers. I have to go with them as the number 1. And then I'm going to go Buffalo Bills number 2. And then I will say the Dolphins right after that, even though I don't want to. Just because they lost 48-20 doesn't mean that they are a terrible football team, you know. So I got we got Bills 2, San Fran number 1, Eagles right after the Dolphins. Actually, I mean, I might even switch that. So I'm going to go Eagles, then Dolphins. If the Dolphins start to slide, if they start going on a downhill swing, obviously this top 5 is going to change throughout the season. But yeah, I got San Fran, Bills, Eagles, Dolphins. I need one more. I'm going to go. Do we have any more undefeated teams out there?
Nope.
Yeah, everyone's at least lost once, right?
I mean, you probably put the Chiefs or maybe the Ravens.
Yeah. I was kind of having that battle in my head, and I don't know which one I want to go with, but I think I'm just going to go with reliable and say the Chiefs. So there's my top 5. I got San Fran, Buffalo, Eagles, Dolphins, Chiefs. Those are my top 5 teams in the NFL until proven otherwise.
I like that, Mike. That's a great 1 through 5, and I'm glad that you still put Miami in there. Regardless of the dismantling of the Miami Dolphins, they are still a really well-built football team with some playmakers on both sides of the football, and they are also without their star cornerback Jalen Ramsey for his first season with the team. So my rankings are as follows: I got San Fran at 1. I actually still got the Eagles at 2 just because they are undefeated. Then I got the Bills at 3, but I could put the Bills at 2, but I'm just going to give the benefit of the doubt to the Eagles. They played a divisional game against Washington. That was a thrilling game, but they found their mojo there in the second half, and I think that kind of got the Eagles a little bit more back on track. And regardless, Jalen Hurts is playing some good football. A.J. Brown is playing really good. DeAndre Swift is playing like the best running back in football right now. So I got them at 2. Bills 3. I'm going to go with at 4, I'm going to go with Miami at 4 just because it's hard not to when they just dropped a 70 bomb on Denver 2 weeks ago. And Denver just came out and beat the Bears, which is hilarious, 31-28 after winning that. The Bears were winning that game 28-7. And Justin Fields had his best game as a pro, and he was almost perfect, right? He was like damn near, we're going to have 2 quarterbacks that were perfect this week almost. But then at 5, I'm going to say Chiefs. I want to say Ravens are close. I do think that Lamar Jackson is he's playing much better. I think Lamar Jackson it's unfortunate that Odell Beckham Jr. can't stay healthy. Zay Flowers is doing good things. They're hurt at running back, but their defense plays really good. Kyle Hamilton is lights out at the safety position. The fact that they even drafted that kid, it's crazy because I said that Kyle Hamilton, if safety was the most important position, he could have easily been drafted number 1 overall that year in 2022. So I got the Chiefs at 5, though, because they are the world champions, because they do have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, possibly one of the best, if not the best coach in football. So that's my 1 through 5. Mike, let's go into our weakest link here next. I see that we got a comment here real fast. We got a comment from Mr. 12 Gauge, who was actually my co-host on Monday and also co-hosting covering the post-game of the Buffalo Bills victory over the Miami Dolphins 48-20. So let's get back into our action here, Mike. Weakest link. Who played the worst game in the week 4 of the NFL? Well, I've got a little bit of a video to show everybody first. Now, listen, I'm going to just put this one simple, all right? I'm not going with Dorian, whatever the frick his name is over there in Cleveland, because that kid was just thrown under the bus by Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson could have played that game, and he decided not to. I mean, when you're getting $235 million guaranteed to play for the Cleveland Clowns, I don't think you're going to want to go out there and play. The guy had a freaking beanie on in like a 70-degree weather day. It's like, come on, Deshaun. But I'm not going with him. I'm going to go with the Patriots. Overall, how on earth – Mike, I said this before I was talking with my buddy Timmy. I go, dude, I'm going to actually take New England plus 5.5 today because I'm starting to dislike Patriots fans a little bit less than Miami fans. I got Patriots fans saying, go Bills, we want you guys to whoop their ass. So I'm like, I'm going to soften the blow with Boston fans. And I go and bet my 4 o'clock parlay ticket, take my 3. And of course I get the first 2 right, but I take New England plus 5.5 without Tom Brady, which, I mean, I almost threw a Mac Jones touchdown prop on there too, but I'm like, that's a bit generous, right? So, I decided to take New England plus 5.5. They lose that football game 38-3, and that's with no Trevon Diggs for Dallas. I mean, what is going on over there in New England? Mac Jones, I try to give you guys a little bit of a pass, and you guys play like garbage. That is the weakest link, and that was also America's game of the week, so that's definitely the weakest link. Mike, who do you think played the worst game in the NFL this week?
So I'm going to go ahead and post this comment right now. Gage Scott Oliver here has got to, this dishonor's got to go to the Giants. I'm going just Daniel Jones. I agree with him as the Giants, but just Daniel Jones. We brought this up earlier. I love it. I just don't understand how he has elite quarterback money and gets to go out there and put a product on the field that he has so far. It's been terrible. I hate to see it for Brian Dable. I mean, I'm a little biased because I do like the guy, but
I love him.
You know, you got to do something better than what I've seen so far.
You're going to have to give me a little something, Danny. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, you got to convince me, and I'm not convinced right now. He's playing terrible, and so, yeah, I totally agree. Giants as a whole, sure, but Daniel Jones mainly. They might as well just start snapping it to Saquon Barkley and just have him just run a wildcat. I don't know.
Like I love. Of course, that's the weakest leg of the week for the week of NFL, the week 4 of the NFL action. And just after 7:30, guys, we're going to be welcoming in our special guest, Kirby, to represent his Jacksonville Jaguars as the Buffalo Bills and the Jags head to London to face each other in a matchup of some real football. You know what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? So let's go into the breakdown of the Buffalo Bills dominating Miami 48-20. Mike, I'll go ahead and run us down through it. The Buffalo Bills come out and they score 7-0. Miami comes back and they strike 7-7. And then all of a sudden the Buffalo Bills come back out and they go out 14-7. Miami strikes back 14-14. The Bills go out there and then they score 21-14. And at that point, we finally got Miami to punt. Miami all of a sudden started bleeding. Then we realized you can hurt this guy. You can hit this guy. We can go ahead. But then, Mike, the Bills kind of stalled out. You know what I'm saying? And then they didn't get that score there. And I'm thinking, we need that. We need that. It ended up being all right. The Buffalo Bills go out there and stop them again. The Bills at that point had scored 17 unanswered to make it 31-14 at the half. Miami would then score 6 more, and the Bills would go on to score 17 more unanswered and win the game 48-20 in a game that Josh Allen goes 21 for 25 for 320 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown for a total of 5 touchdowns, and a perfect passer rating. Stephon Diggs with 6 catches, 120 yards, 3 touchdowns, and one of them being a 55-yard touchdown in which he was being tackled by 2 defenders, broke it off, and absolutely mauled his way forward and got himself to the end zone. Stephon Diggs capping off an amazing day with 3 touchdowns. Gabe Davis also adding another touchdown in the wide receiver 2 slot. I liked what I saw out of our running back, Latavius Murray, and he might even make into our segment of the Unsung Hero this week, Mike. I liked what I saw a little bit of Dalton Kincaid. Heck, I like the way that we distributed the ball on offense, Mike. We basically went out there. We controlled the momentum. We never lost momentum. We kept our foot on the gas. And even if we had any sort of penalties, we played an overall pretty clean game. We did lose Tre'Davious White to a season-ending torn Achilles injury. And it's unfortunate to see, so prayers up for Tre'Davious White. But, Mike, we've got to go ahead and break down some more of this Buffalo Bills action. So we're going to go into victory formation and what we did right offensively to win, guys. But if you have not already done so, hit that like and share button. Join us here in the comments. You're live here on the Sauce God and Shimburski Show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter live every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also live daily at around noon Eastern weekdays with myself, the Sauce God. We've got Kirby coming in here around 7:30 and to represent those Jacksonville Jaguars. But let's play ourselves another video. All right, Mike, tell us, what did we do offensively that was right, and that's what led us to winning this football game 48-20 over Miami?
Actually, I think what we did really well was run the football. The fact that the Bills have been able to run the football at the kind of pace that they have so far has been really such a key piece to this offense now. Josh doesn't have to do everything anymore. They're able to get all the running backs involved. Each brings a little bit of a different style of running, which changes the pace and kind of throws the defense off each time. You know, the emergence of James Cook being everything that they wanted out of this running back that they drafted. He's really stepped up. He's played well. The offensive line has played well. And I think because they've been able to run so well has helped the offensive line pass block. They're being able to block better because it's getting them in a rhythm. It's getting the offensive line itself in a rhythm early, and that's what's allowing everything to just go so smooth. It almost looks easy out there right now, and it's because they can rely on the run game when they need to, and then Josh Allen still is able to make a big play. Even if he has to improvise once in a while and he finds an open receiver, but he's eliminating the mistakes. And I think that has a lot to do with, again, being able to run that football. I think that's what we did well offensively, and it's leading to these scores that you're seeing almost every week now.
Mm-hmm. I think we're seeing Josh Allen just playing much smarter football. Even when he went down for a sack, he didn't try to just break free and overdo it. Josh is kind of learning to mature himself throughout the game and understand when to fight and when not to fight and when to live to fight another down, right? And I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. I also like that comment from Mike Frank real fast. I want to highlight that. They finally played as a team. Allen didn't try to
throw that up. Yep.
Use his weapons as he's supposed to. And Mike, I mean, he nails it on the head here. He was very critical of Allen after week one, as he should be. But Mike, I think you got a little humbled after your Denver Broncos. Well, we're not going to talk about that. But Mike,
I don't bring that up.
Allen did not try to do too much. He trusted the guys around him, and Ken Dorsey is finding ways to let these running backs help him come into the game, and change the pace of the game. You got James Cook who can catch the football. In fact, that was his best play of the game. He had a one catch for 46-yard gain, and that was almost for a touchdown. But then you got Latavius Murray who just comes in as a tank. You got Damian Harris coming in running downhill. They changed the pace of the game, and they made this a much easier game for Josh Allen. But Stephon Diggs, man, if you're going to – and this is what I said – as soon as I saw Josh's stats, I go, he's obviously going to win Offensive Player of the Week, but I guarantee you in his press conference, the first thing he's going to say is, who should be Offensive Player of the Week? Stephon Diggs. And I love that because, yeah, he's got 3 of the touchdowns, and he had Josh's back in big moments, and that's why I love Stephon Diggs. And Stephon Diggs is showing people you could easily say he's the best receiver in football, and it's hard to argue against him. I mean, sure, you could say just Justin Jefferson. You could say a couple of different guys, yeah, but Stephon Diggs is consistently game in and game out an absolute dog, and he's a tough SOB. So let's go into our next segment here, Mike. Let's go into the pain trains and what we did right defensively. Mike, I think you can agree with me on this one. We just let them beat us in one way, and that was with a Chan who had over 100 yards rushing off of 8 carries and 2 touchdowns. But Tyreek Hill didn't do anything. Jalen Waddle couldn't get it going, and Tua had pressure in his face all night. Pressure coming from the defensive backs, pressure coming from those defensive linemen, and it just makes you wonder what this team is going to look like when Von Miller's out there. Mike, what do you think we did right defensively to win this football game?
Yeah, what I would like to really point out is the linebacker play. And that's another consistent thing that has happened throughout the almost, even from week one. There were some positive things to take from that Jets game, even though the end result was a loss, mostly in my opinion to Josh Allen's play. So you look at the rest of the victories that have taken place. I mean, you look at how Matt Milano's playing and Bernard. That's the future of the linebacker position. You're not going to have. I talked about this before. I think you're not going to have a guy like Ray Lewis, Luke Kuechly, or Brian Urlacher, those big thumpers in the middle anymore. Tremaine Edmonds was a big body, but I just don't think he could cover like the way I've seen Bernard move. There's a couple times where he got burned, but for the most part, as a linebacker, he did quite well and against fast players. They didn't ask him to do too much, but when he was asked to cover and keep his zone clear, he did a great job. And I think that's a lot of what helped this victory take place is they were able to take his first read away. He had to, Tua had to stop and freeze and try to find his second read, third read. And by the time he did that, the pass rush was there. And so I credit a lot to that. To the secondary somewhat, but the linebackers had to really step up in this one, and I think they did.
Yeah, and Joey Hatch right here is saying something that I wanted to highlight just because he said Josh Allen is averaging about 17 yards a play. You're seeing 17 everywhere, man. Josh Allen, number 17. Bills scoring 17 unanswered points and then scoring another 17 unanswered points. It's just 17s everywhere. Heck, even the time of day I always see is 17s. Shout out to my little M Steph over there. And also, too, he says Jones has the most pressures in the NFL by alignment at this moment. I like what I'm seeing out of the defensive line, and I like the way that I'm seeing that Sean McDermott is dialing up this defense. Micah Hyde was asked in his post-game interview after he had the interception on Tua. He said, what's making this defense different, Sean? He said the way that Sean is kind of, he's like almost like he didn't want to take a dig at Leslie Frazier, but saying it's because of the way that Sean is drawing up this defense and the way that he's just kind of letting them loose, man. We look like we're not afraid to, if you're going to get 100 yards against us, fine, but we're going to take away every other asset of your game, similar to what the Patriots did. They take away one of your best options and they make you beat them in other ways. And that's what we did. And they could not beat us in other ways because we kept the foot on the gas offensively. So alongside of that defense, the offense did their job very well. We've just played an overall clean game. And so that's going to take us into our next segment here. Bada bing, bada boom, the good from the game. But just after this, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have Forget About It. We'll have Unsung Hero. And we're going to have Kirby joining us just after that to discuss the Buffalo Bills against the Jaguars in London. So, Mike, let's go ahead. Let's play the next video.
Where you shoot them a mile away, you got to get them close like this. Bing!
Mike, the good things that we saw from the game, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The Bills' offense. The Bills' offense was everything. They did their jobs. Everybody contributed the way that they're supposed to. Stephon Diggs was a great wide receiver one. James Cook did his job at, running back number one. Even if he didn't run the football very well, he caught the football for one catch for 46 yards. This guy is just absolutely making a difference no matter what. You got Latavius Murray running the football downfield. Damian Harris, Gabe Davis doing a great job as wide receiver two. Our tight ends mixing it up and giving you a different look as well and making you have to respect so many different avenues. That's what I think was the good from the game. Mike, what do you got for bada bing, bada boom?
Yeah, for bada bing, bada boom, I think what I have is the defensive line. Tua gets rid of his passes so fast. He's got one of the quickest releases in football. He's got some of the fastest receivers in football, and they were still able to get some sacks. They were still able to get in the backfield, mess the play up, and they got some stops on fourth down, and it had a lot to do with the pass rush. I love it. I'm glad that it's just as good as it is right now, and Von Miller's not even in yet. So, that's exciting. I think that's the good that I took. This pass rush is going to be great all season. Bada boom.
Got to hit. And I like that. So let's go into the next segment of Forget About It, the bad from the game. And here's another video for you guys again.
What's forget about it? If you disagree like a Lincoln is better than a Cadillac, forget about it.
Yes, and you got that right there. That's Forget About It, which is the bad that we've seen from this game. And I'm only going to say there's only one bad thing, and that was Tre'Davious White going out with an injury in which he suffered a torn Achilles injury, and it was confirmed that he is expected to miss the rest of the year. Really unfortunate blow because Tre'Davious White was starting to get back to his old self a little bit. You saw it in the previous week, the way that he had an interception against Sam Howell. We all know that he suffered that torn ACL against Tampa Bay a couple years ago. And, man, it's just tough to see because Tre'Davious White was the first piece for this whole franchise turning around when Sean McDermott came in as the head coach and when Brandon Beane would eventually come in as the general manager. And they said to Tre'Davious White, you're the first piece in this franchise turning around and changing and becoming a successful franchise. So prayers up for Tre'Davious White. Mike, I think that's pretty much the only bad thing that we can take away from the game. Unless you got anything else to add.
No. When you play a team like this and you get the victory that you have, we'd be nitpicking if we really wanted to break down every little play, and find something negative. I think let's stay positive this week with nothing to say except for what you just said, which was well said.
Amen to that. If you guys are just now tuning in, though, you're live here on the Sauce God and Shimburski Show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And this is live on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am also live daily, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday around noon Eastern Standard Time to cover all sports. This is the Sauce God and Shimburski Show. We're about to bring in our special guest here after this segment right here of the unsung hero, Mike, who was the unsung hero of this game. I've got another little clip, and we'll get into it. The unsung hero of the game, Mike, I'm going to tell you my unsung hero is definitely Latavius Murray. This guy comes in and gets limited touches, but he makes use of them and he changes the pace of game and he's able to catch the football out of the backfield, something that I didn't necessarily anticipate from the guy. He's huge, but he's got a lot of veteran leadership as well. And, dude, he just fights for more yards, and he was just kind of keeping some drives alive, it felt like at times during the game. So that's the unsung hero for me, the guy that made a couple of under-the-radar plays that were significant in the Bills' victory. Mike, what do you got for the unsung hero?
Yeah, so the unsung hero for me was Dane Jackson jumping in after Tre'Davious White goes down, and I thought he played well. You know, he had to jump right in. You know, he didn't necessarily start. I know he's on a rotation somewhat for cornerback number 2, but he came in and he played well. He did not allow the Dolphins to just all of a sudden start moving the ball. I thought that he filled in nicely, and if he's able to play like that throughout the season, obviously he's going to have to. With Tre'Davious White going down for the season, that this is what you need, and it shows that the Bills have depth. And so the unsung hero for me, coming in and doing a fantastic job to finish out the game, Dane Jackson. If you pay attention to how he played after he got asked to do more, he did very well.
Excellent stuff. So, Mike, we're going to play a little commercial break for everybody out there as we're going to now go into the Buffalo Bills breakdown. The breakdown of the Buffalo Bills versus the Jags in London with our special guest, Kirby. So, just after this, a little minute commercial, ladies and gentlemen. So, hit that like and share if you haven't done so already. Join us here in the comments. We're going to get into the Bills and Jags breakdown with special guest Kirby.
Let's get this over with. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's simple, baby. Buffalo Bills football is back, all right? And we dying soon.
Crack a cold one since it's tailgate.
Ooh. Ice cold, Mike. I'm dying. You are tuned in to the Sauce God Radio Network here on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, TikTok Live, and now streaming on BuffaloSauceGod.com. Yes, and now we are welcoming in our special guest, Mr. Kirby Gregory, who is representing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who just got back from London, you know what I mean? So, Kirby, how are you doing this evening, brother? Welcome to the Sauce God and Shimburski show. It's good to have you.
Yes, sir. Good to see you guys. And I got a bada bing, bada boom for you as well. Jags win 33-27. Let's go.
Oh, Kirby, I'll tell you what, man. This is going to be a good game. I definitely think the are up a little bit more. Trevor Lawrence played a much better game last week. I'm a little shocked that I'm not seeing more out of Calvin Ridley since week 1. So I'm excited to talk a little bit about that with you as well. But Kirby, man, so far through 4 weeks, what do you think of the Jaguars? Are they underperforming? Are they right about where you thought they'd be? What do you think of the Jags so far through 4 weeks?
I think we're warming up, to be honest. We're getting hotter. Each game we're making improvements. Trevor's he's like right around the 67% passing completed, rating. But I don't know. I feel like we're just getting started. We always play the Bills hard, and I think we got a chip on our shoulder. It's supposed to be our year. We bragged about it all off season, and it's time to put our money where our mouth is at. We're going to win.
The Battle of Josh Allen's for sure. So, Kirby, I'd like to, introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Mike Shimburski. Mike, this is Kirby. Kirby's a longtime friend of mine who's actually, he's pretty knowledgeable. And Kirby and I tend to kind of root for one another's teams, except for this week, obviously. We're going to have to see what the better team wins. But I kind of going to let you guys kind of talk more about some of this stuff right here. So we're going to go into victory formation first. And that's going to be what your team do in order to win this game offensively. So, Kirby, I'm going to play this little video, and then we're going to start with you to see what do you think the Jags have to do to beat this Buffalo Bills team with the way that their defense is playing. Victory formation is going to be what your team must do in order to win this game offensively. So we know the Buffalo Bills will be playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are very good in London, even without Blake Bortles, right? So, Kirby, what do you think the Jaguars are going to need to do to secure a victory here in Week 5 against the Bills in London?
I think they just need to stick to those wide receivers man on man, dude, like white on rice. I think that's going to be the key to winning. I think we can stop the run, to be honest. I'm feeling pretty confident on stopping that run. I mean, come on, what do you got? Latavius Murray, I heard you mention him. Years to wow us. Yeah, he's been pretty mediocre. I mean, yes, he had his good day. What was it, last Sunday? But I just don't see, him being all that productive against us. I think we're gonna put our foot down Latavius Murray's throat for sure. I mean, at least him. I can guarantee you that. As far as Josh Allen goes, I'm going to rely on him to do what he's done in the past and play some heroic football. I'm coming in here to, also speak truth, be a little bit offensive, raise some hairs a little bit. But yeah, I think, we just got to stick on those wide receivers. We got the run. We're tough on defense. I think it's going to be a good game.
So Kirby's giving you his defensive keys here, Mike. You see what he's doing here? He's going opposite of us. I like it though, because we can't give paint trains, Mike. Give him the paint trains. So for victory formation, I like it. Kirby's immediately saying what he's got to do to slow down the Bills' offense. But Mike, what do you think the Bills have got to do offensively to beat this Jaguars defense and Josh Allen to beat the real Josh Allen to beat Josh Allen?
Yeah. I when we brought on a guest, I didn't think he was going to be delusional. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The key is he kind of mentioned what they got to do defensively, and that's because he knows what the Bills do well so far, and they're going to be able to run the football. I think if they continue to do what they've done before in these past couple games, if they get the run game going like they have been, then that's going to open the play action pass, which is. Again, Josh is averaging 17 to 18 yards per attempt on the play action pass, which it's obviously on video. So it's not like the Jags are going to just be oblivious to that stat. But if they aren't able to stop that run immediately, it just opens everything else up. And you're not able to play man on those receivers as he was mentioning. But I mean, they just got to play their style football. Don't go into the trap game. The Jags have been a little up and down. I will agree that they're starting to look better, and so you want to start playing your best football towards the middle of the season and the end. So if you have a slow start, this would be a game that you'd want to show that you're headed in the right direction. But I just don't see it. I think that the Bills are playing some of their best football right now, and they've kind of cracked the code. So that's where it is with the offense getting the run game going, opening up the play action. Keep doing what you're doing until somebody stops it.
Now, Kirby, I'm curious as to what you think. So for the way the Jaguars are playing right now, what do you think that they've done offensively to win some games? I know that Trevor Lawrence he's still growing. He's still a young quarterback, but he's definitely a poised leader out there on the football field. But like I said, I haven't seen. I own him in fantasy, obviously. But I've seen a little bit lack of, Kevin Ridley's production. But what do you think you guys are doing right offensively to win you some football games?
Well, I think we've relied too heavily on just passing to Calvin Ridley early. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, we were kind of trying to force feed him. Trevor's looking comfortable. He's passing it to Kirk. Kirk's getting more volume, which he deserves. Just spreading the ball around a little bit more. Yeah, Calvin Ridley's our number one wide receiver, obviously. Ultra talented. He's had a few drops. I think it's just a rust thing. I mean, you got to keep in mind, too, how long it's been since he's played. All right, now he's on the field now, and there's pressure. So, I mean, there's a lot of balls that, Calvin Ridley has dropped, but Trevor's thrown him dimes. So, I'm pretty confident we're going to be pretty good in the passing game. I know you guys play some tough defense, but we have our own run game as well. And, I mean, Tank Bigsby at the goal line, he's looking mean. He looks good. He looks good.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
ETN, he's okay. And that's what I have to say about that. I mean, as long as Trevor can just pass the ball around, air it out to ETN short here and there, keep the defense a little bit confused, I think that this game really is winnable for us. Because, I mean, if you look back in the past, yes, you can say whatever you want. say I'm delusional, but we always play the Bills hard. That's just how it goes. It's factual. I mean, we can play.
Yeah, there's
like
no doubt
shit.
about that.
We can lose to the Texans to get our shit rocked, right? Lose, and I'm like, what am I even watching, right? And then out of nowhere, we'll play a team that we're not supposed to win against, and we play them hard and we win. It's definitely possible. We watched it last season in the postseason. Trevor's making mistakes and everything, but the dude came back. I mean, he pulled himself out, and we ultimately had a great year. And I think we're just building the momentum. Everybody's gonna just start clicking. The Bills are clicking. You guys have momentum, so we'll see.
It's
gonna be a good one.
Because I think right now, with the way the Texans are playing, there's a little bit more pressure on the Jaguars. You got Anthony Richardson coming back from injury for the Colts, and he's playing some good football too. So, you guys got to win games down there. But I definitely agree, Kirby. You guys have played us traditionally very tough in the year that we lost to you guys in the postseason, where we had no sort of offense whatsoever with Tyrod Taylor and whatever the hell else we had going on. But us because it was our first playoff game in 17 years or so. We were just happy to be there, right? But then, we play you guys in Josh Allen's rookie year, and that was kind of a personal game for Josh Allen because of what Jalen Ramsey said about the draft pick, and but that was a game neck and neck. Leonard Fournette and Shaq Lawson both got ejected that game. I was about ready to jump on the football field and start fighting people until you really see how big Leonard Fournette is. Then I would run back into the stands and say, never mind, it's not Mac Jones. But then we play you guys in 2021. We're favored 16.5 points, and I never liked that spread. In fact, I woke up that morning, and I don't ever feel like this. I felt like something is not right today. And when I saw there was a pass interference call or some shit out there, and they took like a 2.5-minute commercial break back and reversed the penalty, that's when I go, this ain't going to go right. And I think we lost the game like 9-6 or some shit like that. It was ugly. But
yeah, it was terrible.
Jaguars are a good, young, and up-and-coming team, especially with Doug Peterson, the head coach, winning a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2017. How that went. And I like Trevor Lawrence. I think that you guys made a huge acquisition with Calvin Ridley. And I like the way that you guys are building this team. And I see a bright future for the Jaguars. And I definitely see a good game, especially with the way that you guys play in London. So by no means, Bills Mafia, are we anticipating this to be a blowout like it was against Miami. So let's go into our pain trains, which, Kirby, you were talking a little bit about, what your defense had to do in order for, for the Jags to win this game. But, Mike, what do you think those are going to have to do defensively to win this game against the Jaguars?
So I think they got to take away what the Jags can do best. It's almost a very similar game plan because if you think about it, the Jags are really kind of the way they're built. It's very similar to the way the Bills are built. It's just that they haven't reached the level of success yet, but it's there. If you look at the pieces that they put in place. So if the Bills want to be successful, they got to stop the run early and force Trevor Lawrence into becoming one-dimensional, having to pass on every down. And with the pass rush that the Bills have been able to produce, force him into some mistakes. And then when he throws a hero ball or he throws a rushed ball, that's when an interception could take place, especially with the way these linebackers have been playing. Yes, the Bills are without Tre'Davious White, but they have depth at corner, and I have the confidence in those corners to be able to hang with the receiving core that they have. And that's really what it is just create chaos in that backfield and produce turnovers, and then therefore the Bills can control the time of possession and just keep the Jags offense off the field for most of the game.
So, Kirby, let me ask you this. So, knowing how well the Bills are playing defensively, how do you kind of limit their pressures, and how do you kind of limit what they can do, and kind of how do you think the offense can find a way to take control of this game?
Well, we got to rely a lot on our own running game. We do. I mean, ETN is good. He's shifty. I am dying to see more reps for Tank Bigsby, and I think we're probably going to utilize him a lot in this game. We haven't early on, but I have a feeling something's going to shift because he does need usage. We do need to give ETN some breaks in between and allow this guy Tank, who was a pretty relatively high draft pick for us, to just run wild and see what he's got and surprise this Bills defense. Because, I mean, we haven't utilized him, and it's a must. I mean, we drafted him, like I said, relatively early, and it's time to see what he's made of. In college, he was great. I mean, his name is Tank. His name is Tank.
Tank Bigsby, nonetheless. So I think ultimately, what I'm seeing, what's worked for the Bills so far, Kirby, obviously being a Jags fan, what's worked for us is the fact that we've had a really great defense and just been able to keep us, keep opportunities for the offense to stay on the football field. And I think in the last 3 weeks, especially, to somebody that's like not necessarily a Bills fan, the way that we've played offense has been not this conservative look. It's been this smart look where we're kind of just controlling the clock and we're using all the guys that we have. We're kind of just unloading the arsenal in a sense, but we're not like draining ourselves or depleting ourselves necessarily either. But I think the Jaguars, if they're going to really want to slow down the Bills, like you said, they're going to have to run the football and they're going to have to pick up some first downs and you're going to have to keep Josh Allen off the field. And that's because the way that he's playing right now, it's like if the defense can take your offense off the field and this offense can kind of keep doing what they've done in the last 3 weeks of football now, it's hard to beat the Buffalo Bills. But I've seen a lot of good things out of the Jags, and I've seen, like I said, I've seen the it factor from Trevor, and I've seen the it factor from guys like Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby. I think that you guys are going to really make this a competitive game. And also, it's interesting to see how they're going to play because they're not a divisional opponent or anything like that. And I think that last year I was kind of looking at the playoffs and saying, one team that I don't know if I really want to face would be Jacksonville, just because the way that you guys are built and the way that we've played each other in the past, it's going to be a tricky game. But also, too, like I said, you guys got the whole London thing on your side versus us Bills fans. We haven't played over there in London. They tried to play us over in Toronto once, and we threw a big fucking fit about it, and that ain't ever going to happen again. Jerk off. But if you guys are just not tuning in, you're live here on the Sauce God and Shimburski Show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is joined here with our special guest, Kirby, representing the Jacksonville Jaguars, as the Buffalo Bills will take on the Jaguars in London, where Wolves are in London. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not already doing so, join us here in the comments section. Make sure to follow and like and subscribe so you can catch all of the live shows and never miss any of the content coming from myself, the Sauce God, or my guy, Mike Shimburski, or even over here with our guy, Kirby Gregory. But also check out www.buffalosaucegod.com for some merchandise, as well as all other content, chicken wing reviews on all your daily entertainment. So we talked a little bit about the offense and defense. Kirby, let's go ahead. Let's get a final score prediction from you here, brother. What do you got for the final score? Who takes this game?
Well, I'll stand by my word. I feel like it could be a 33-27 game. We'll see.
33-27. You're saying Jags, though, too, right?
I'm saying Jags.
All right.
I'm saying Jags.
All right.
Mike,
hey, you got to stay a fan. I admire it.
Mike, what do you think here, though? What do you got for final score prediction?
I'm gonna go a low scoring game. Maybe neither offense can get it going like we expect. 28-14 Buffalo.
Okay, now here's the thing I'm wondering, right? What's the current spread? What's the current over-under? Because last time I saw that 16.5-point number, it made me incredibly nervous as a Bills fan, and it was that whole idea of a trap game, right, is what people were saying. The Jags were in Trevor Lawrence's rookie year. That was supposed to be kind of a rebuilding year, and then the Bills were supposed to win a Super Bowl that year, and then it turned out that it did not go that way. So I'm trying to actually pull up real fast some spreads.
I want to say the over and under. I think it was 48. Could be.
So they got the Bills. Bills are minus 5.5, and the over/under is 48.5. I'm going to say Bills. I'm going to say Bills 27-20. I think the Bills 27-20, and that's not being biased or anything. I think the Bills are just kind of on a freight train, and I think the way that they're playing football, it's kind of them against the world right now. They got a chip on their shoulder. Everybody's counting them out. Everybody's saying Miami's the better team, and no matter what they do, everybody's just going to have something negative to say. But I do think the Jaguars might even start off in the first half with a little bit of the momentum. I could see you guys kind of confusing us a little bit and kind of taking us out of our element. So, Kirby, I definitely anticipate a really good game. But before we get out of here, I want to so overall, what do you think of your team's performance through weeks 1 through 4? What do you grade your team, and do you like your chances heading forward to maybe make a playoff run?
Yeah, and I got some things for you also that I agree with you, and some things that I think that they could do better that would make them just a better team that I would love to share with you. But go ahead.
Okay. So from what I've seen so far, I mean, that one game really pissed me off against the Texans. I was like, all right, you know what?
We've been there.
If I could grade them right now, I would say C+. I mean, But like I said, we're getting the ball rolling. I feel like we're heating up. I saw Trevor make some really good plays with his legs in London last week. And I mean, that could be a surprise factor for you as well. I know your guy, Josh Allen, he has legs too. Our quarterback can just break a run out of nowhere as well. So we'll see. We'll see.
Mike, you had some things to add for Kirby?
Yeah. So you almost kind of brought it up there. Something that the Jags should do is go back and watch some of Josh Allen's film from his early career. I would say about year three to year 4 is what they should start watching, and just do a little bit of what Brian Daboll did for Josh Allen, and that was move the pocket with Josh so that he can roll out, or he can be mobile, so to speak, but not have to necessarily run. So you get Trevor Lawrence moving back there, and so he's not running for his life. The pass rush doesn't really get to him because you can make up for a bad offensive line. Not saying you have a terrible offensive line. I'm just saying that you can make up for a bad offensive line by moving the pocket and shifting with the quarterback. It changes the angle that the defense has to take. And so I really wish that's what they would do more. If I watch a Jags game, I don't think they utilize his abilities to their max. I think that you have a much better quarterback than what he's been able to show. And that's just because they haven't like uncapped the potential yet. They haven't broken the cork open yet on the champagne bottle.
Yeah.
They gotta unleash the beast somewhere. And I think there's a few things they could do a little bit differently and use his legs, get some design runs in there. This guy's young. Use him like Josh was used in the beginning, and then towards year 6 where Josh is, you get a developed product. And so I think you guys are heading in the right direction. I hope that's what they end up doing down the line.
Yeah, I'd say this too. The fact that Doug Peterson is a former quarterback too is also a really good thing for Trevor Lawrence's growth going forward. Obviously, his rookie season with Urban Meyer and that whole situation was not good for the Jags, and it kind of. But hey, if there's one thing that we can relate to, being as Bills fans, about having to go through setbacks, we had to go through when we took Sammy Watkins, and then we literally watched Odell Beckham Jr., Mike Evans, even Kelvin Benjamin, all had better years than Sammy Watkins, and obviously some of them have had better careers too. So, but one thing I would say is that Doug Peterson is definitely a better coach, and I like the way that you guys are trending in the right direction. You guys have made some good draft picks over the years, and you guys are definitely building up that football team. Where I think if you're going to pick a team right now, Mike, to kind of like take over the AFC South, I'm taking the Jags, and that's just kind of the way that I see the landscape of the AFC South at this point. I do think that Anthony Richardson's going to make it tough over there for you guys in the division. But overall, that's just how divisions are. But Kirby, I also want to get an unbiased opinion from you and something to maybe cheer some Bills Mafia fans up if they're having a bad day. What did you make of the Bills' 48-20 victory over Miami after they put up 70 on Denver?
Hey, somebody's got to humble those annoying Dolphins fans. I mean, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about that. The Miami Dolphins, yeah. If there's Bills Mafia fans, and they're about like right here. I'm right here with them, and then there's Miami Dolphins fans, and they are far worse than the Bills Mafia. I mean, so salute to you guys. Yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
I'd like to thank.
I'll fight a Miami Dolphins fan right now. If he came through my door, dude, I'm throwing elbows.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, I don't want to throw bows with Kirby. Believe me, the guy can fight. In fact, Kirby, I want to continue to wish you luck for if you continue to fight over there. I think you should have won that match. That first, Kirby's actually an amateur fighter at this point, and he's actually kind of pursuing it a little bit too, and he's actually pretty damn good too, from what I've seen. But Kirby, I want to thank you for joining us here and representing your Jacksonville Jaguars, and may the better team win this Sunday. And of course, get ready to wake up at 9:30 at the ass crack of dawn, just like the rest of us, to try and start day drinking early to watch that football game, right? But Kirby,
Yep. Sounds good. Well,
Shimburski Show. We're live here Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and also live Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at around noon Eastern Standard Time right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And don't forget, Duff's Famous Wings is the proud partner of this show. You're live here with Sauce God and Shimburski. Check out www.buffalosaucegod.com for more merchandise and more content. And also check out my social medias, which are listed in my link tree in the comments or in the description of this video, whatever the hell it may be. I'd like to thank my co-host, Mr. Mike Shimburski. Shimburski, tell the people where they can find you.
Yep, you can find me on Twitter at it's Mike Shimburski at MIKOL2531 and Facebook, just Mike Shimburski. Yep, love to talk shop, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
Excellent, Mike, and thank you very, very, very much. And of course, if you guys like to talk quarterbacks, Mike is your guy. Mike definitely knows how to break down some quarterback performances and how to give you guys maybe a little bit of optimism as well. Unless you're a Danny Jones fan, then it ain't going to happen because it just ain't going to happen.
I don't have it for you. Yep.
Also, Kirby, where can the people find you on social medias as well?
Well, okay, so you guys can find me on Snapchat at Steve Stone Cold Autism.
The biggest
there's that one.
App ever.
And then if you want to, my brother has a killer Instagram account. It's Down with Duval. If anybody wants to go check it out, he keeps it updated regularly. And everywhere else you can find me, just type in my name, Kirby Gregory. It's kind of a unique name, so should pop right up.
Excellent stuff. Guys, check me out across all social media platforms at Buffalo Sauce God, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. No, there's no Snapchat for you guys to ever get. Also, Facebook, Twitter, and all of the above. And check out www.buffalosaucegod.com. This is the Sauce God and Shimburski Show. You guys can also maybe check us out for pregame this week as that ain't going to happen because I ain't getting up at 6 a.m.
It's like 6 a.m., man.
6 a.m. I'm drinking. I ain't doing no coverage. So you guys have to check out the post-game coverage with myself and possibly 12 Gauge and maybe even Mike. But everybody, we thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments. And as always, we'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good luck to your Jags, Kirby. But always, go Bills.
Go Bills.